And you let them be right and you go be rich. I'm not looking to be right. I'm looking to be rich. How many of us are looking to be rich? I'm not here to be right. And so look, be coachable. You've heard that over and over again. I think of people that buy a McDonald's franchise. How many of you agree they're taking $2 million from somebody? And if they took $2 million from you to start a McDonald's franchise, number one, you're going to be coachable. Yes or no? You'll put that paper hat on, yes or no? How's my paper hat look, hon? Right? Best friend comes into your McDonald's and says, I don't even believe this is me. I don't care. Are you buying one or not? I just paid $2 million for this. See, do you notice how they make people coachable by taking $2 million from them? McDonald's doesn't need $2 million for a franchise. That's not even jet fuel for the executives' planes that fly all over the world. They take the $2 million from people because they want them to be coachable. See, ACN, we can do it any way we want, but how many of us love the fact that you get mentorship in ACN? Right? How many of you love the fact that for $25 a month, I have a built-in coach, a built-in mentor, somebody that I can call, somebody that I can listen to, somebody that I can follow, and somebody that gets literally paid the better that I do. I mean, you can't ask for a better relationship than that. So you got to bring that coachability. And then you got to have long-term thinking. Here's what I found in the world we live. Long-term thinking has gone. How many of us would agree with that? It's instant rice. It's instant oatmeal. Right? How many of you been to somebody's house and you look at the microwave and it's flash in 3 seconds? I mean, they couldn't even wait. They couldn't even, I'm done. It's done. 97 seconds, that's it, I'm done. I got to eat now. I mean, could you imagine if we had to go back to growing food? Could you imagine the American population going, when? It's been over a day. I don't see nothing yet. See, here's what I found. Instant success does not exist. See, we're an overnight 21-year success story. I have friends that go, you still doing that? Yeah, they're still paying me. It's unbelievable. See, here's what I'll share with you is that that's going to be something that you got to possess. But long-term thinking in our opportunity isn't a decade. It's 5 years. It's 6 years. Can you stick around convention after convention, hang out with some winners, learn how to read some books, start getting into some personal development, work harder on yourself than you do on anything else. When people get in your car, they should hear nothing but personal development. You should be able to go to your house and see book after book laying around of people that are where you want to be, and all you have to do is read the book to get to where they are. See, to me, spending the next couple of years hanging out with winners just sounds great to me. How about you? I had some people here, Mr. Ian Hyatt, his wife, and she said, everybody's so nice. That's us. That's ACN. We see the good in everybody. Yes or no? Yes. It doesn't matter who they are. Do you notice how ACN prepares your mind to see the good in everyone? I had people go, I don't have 199. I'm going, what a story you're going to be. Could you imagine when you can go SVP and you can stand on the stage and say, I didn't even have 199. What a story you're going to be. Do you see how your brain just goes to see how possibility are endless for everybody you and I are talking to? But the reality is everybody's not going to see what you see in them. Some of their biggest critics are themselves. Don't see something great inside of themselves. How many of you see great things inside of other people and sometimes they don't see it themselves?
Oh, yes.
You got to sort, not sell. We're not in the selling business, folks. We're in the sorting business. I think about the great teacher when he had his team and he put his 12 people together. And he sent them out 2 by 2. And he said, look, not every door is going to be of your court. Not everybody's going to want to hear what you have to say. But be okay with that and shake the sand out of your sandals and move on to the next door. You think about that a second. You think, why do you talk about sand in a sandal? And as you think about that passage, back then, if you had a little piece of sand in your sandal and it rubbed against the bottom of your foot over a period of time, eventually it's going to break the skin. And after it breaks the skin, it's going to cause an infection. Back then, they didn't have penicillin. And if you had an infection in your foot, it might go to your leg and they had to amputate your foot or amputate your leg or eventually, potentially die. See, how many of us are holding on to some no's? How many of us are holding on to some people that said, it's not going to work? You can't do it. You don't have what it takes. Man, I used to keep a list. What's your name again? Bill Smith. Bill Smith, I'm going to buy a Bentley. I'm going to do donuts in your front yard. Right? I used to, like literally, my list got so long. Tom Joe, where do you live? I am going to show, don't die on me. Don't you die on me. Right? It might take me a little longer than maybe I thought, but don't die. I want you to see it all, the glory of it all. And then I realized that I started feeling bad for them. Because what they saw was somebody doing the right thing when they weren't willing to do it themselves. That was willing to overcome fear, overcome the feeling of inadequacy. How many of you have those feelings? Not me. Not now. I was talking to a woman earlier. We were saying, well, I need this person to do a call or this person. I used to think the same thing. If I only had Mike Kane to do the call for me. Man, if I had Debbie Davis to do the call for me. And I remember one day they were like, if we only had Pat Mazer. I'm like, Pat Mazer? What are you talking about? We need you to do me. Nobody thinks that they're prepared for leadership. Nobody thinks that they're the one that just was born to get up here and do what we're doing here today. It took time. It took energy. It took effort. It took personal development. And what I love about this business, it gives you all of those. It gives you an environment to grow. See, you could be the right seed, but if you're not in the right environment, you're never going to grow. You got to be in the right environment for that seed to grow. And the fact that you're here tells me that you are the right seed and ACN is the right environment. And folks, I was here in 2007 and 2006 when people were telling me how easy it was to make money in 2006. Patrick, it's easy to make money. And I can remember 2008. And you know what? I wasn't even aware of what was going on. I was so busy doing meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting after meeting. I wasn't watching the news. I didn't have really any concern about what was going on outside of what we're doing here today. And I remember like overnight, my phone started to light up. And people that told me they weren't interested and would never do what we're doing here today were calling me up saying I'm 100% interested. My 401k just turned into a 201k. The house that I bought is worth less today than the day I bought it. I had people saying, I got to throw the keys back to the bank. Oh my Lord, what are we going to do? And our business exploded. And my mentor told me, he said, Patrick, it's when preparation meets opportunity. See, I was preparing. You're preparing. And the day when that happens, how many of you are ready to do presentations? The day when that happens, how many of you are ready to say, let's get together, man. I can show you how to get some customers. I can show you how to share the vision with people. I can teach you the marketing plan. I can show you how to make money. I can teach you everything you need to know because I've been preparing and preparing and preparing and preparing for just this opportunity. Now look, there's only a couple things that we have to realize. Number one, timing has a lot to do with success. And when you look at what we've got with this healthcare product, folks, let me tell you something. You are at the beginning what I consider to be the biggest disruptor in the healthcare industry. Woo! This is the biggest disruptor in the healthcare industry. This is a $4 trillion broken industry. And when you take a look at companies like Uber, it wasn't started because of the cab industry. It was a tech company that said, let's rethink the way transportation is done in the United States. You know, if you look at Airbnb, it wasn't Marriott that came up with it. It was a third party that said, let's consider doing it a little different than maybe how you and I were accustomed to staying. Look, I can remember like yesterday, the first time somebody said Airbnb to me, and I was thinking to myself, I finally made enough money that I don't have to sleep on someone's couch. That I can afford to walk into a hotel and not hold my breath when I hand in my credit card. Anyone know what I'm talking about? Oh, incidentals? What do you mean? I'm not going to buy anything. I'm not going to call anyone. I'm not going to get any movies, right or wrong. I can remember that. And they said, no, it's different than what you thought. And I thought to myself, you know what? I'll give it a try. And even to today, you know what? I rented an Airbnb for this event. So can we agree that it took some re-education? Can we agree that it was something that someone like me said, no, I'm not interested today, I'm a raging fan, that today I'm using that product. Now imagine what you and I can do. YouTube wasn't started by NBC. Can we agree Amazon wasn't started by Walmart? All of these disruptors came from the outside that said, there's a problem, it's broken, and we found a better way to do it. And when you look at Impact Health and what we got our hands on, folks, let me tell you something. This is the greatest product I have ever seen when it came to helping people save money in the biggest industry out there. It's the only thing I've ever been able to get 100% attention by every single person I talk to. I don't care if you're the CEO of a corporation or you're a